God bless you. I can see your bad head. Oh, everyone is on me now. I'm trying to. Where's the waiting room now? Okay. I think we do have. Okay, everyone, good evening or good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I hope you can hear me. If you cannot hear me, please do complain so I would know that what we are doing is not flowing. We're expecting many more personalities on this platform for today, and I do hope good. Oh, at all times, I would encourage us to please try to put off your mic because of interference. If we don't do that, we will run into the problem of sound and we can't hear. Now, wherever you are, I can see some faces, so it's very easy. I can see Kingsley. Kingsley, can you hear me? Ugwani, can you hear me? Very good, very good, very good. That means every other person can pick me up. Very good. Good. So, Frank, I can't see your video. Frank is here with us, and Mary is also here, and many more persons will join us. And I want to appreciate you all for joining us this morning or evening or afternoon, depending on where you are, to this particular seminar. As I said in the emails I sent earlier, unfortunately, I noticed that those emails, some of them were rebounded. I think that's the right word. Kingsley, maybe you may need to help me. Some of them were rebounded back to my face because the emails were not correct, you know, and I didn't know what happened, some of the emails. But for those who got the mails, I really appreciate the fact that you could join us. And my desire is that every one of us will get something from this. Not just scholarship, because not all of us who need scholarship. For me now, even if you give me scholarship to go and study medicine in Harvard, I wouldn't they wouldn't leave my family to do that, except you want to give the scholarship to every one of us. But for those who need scholarship, I hope everyone gets it. But for those who need information in every other area, that is why we've decided to vary our curriculum. Let me use that word. We've decided to vary our curriculum and invite expatriates from different areas. I do know many of us have children, which is very good because I have many of them. But please, if you can stay away from them, please do, and I will sincerely appreciate it. The children are allowed because they are the epicenter of what we are doing, but sometimes they can be very happy, and clash into what we are doing. So let's just be careful. So without mentioning words, I am seeing Ebuka. Okay, Ebuka. Okay, God bless you. Of course, Ken joined us from Toulouse, France. Good. Okay, you joined us from Nigeria, is that right? Very good. I can see Gideon. Gideon Mojiji, God bless you, Gideon. I think from Abakaliki, Nigeria, I think. And then we have Ibiku. Thank you. We have Ibikule Foresty. Ibikule, how are you? How do you pronounce that? Please help me. Help me.
That's Obikwe Prosper Chemeze. Can you hear me?
Ibikunle Forsyth.
Forsyth. Oh, that is serious.
Yeah.
Chimeze, God bless you. This your name is very intimidating. And then Ken, thank you for joining us from Toulouse. Ken joined very early. He had to wait for me while I was trying to press these buttons. Ken, thank you so much. Ken has been a friend and a brother for over 10 years now. And then Uncle Kisley, as always, with his English head, is also here from Newcastle. Uncle, how is the family? Good. Okay. Very good. And of course, thank you, sir. And Meg, thank you always. Meg has been the backbone of this job. I'm telling you, she did almost everything single-handedly. And she has been very up and doing, even though she's always very quiet. Meg, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. And Mary Chinda. Yeah, Mary is the connector general. She knows how to get people to where they are going to. Mary, have you finished eating your banana? She's not talking to me. It's okay. I will get to her later. So let's start by introducing Franklin. Franklin is a duty continuity officer in Etihad. And Frank will be taking us on some certain key issues. And I do hope, Frank, I can see you. You are looking very good in your polo. Please send that polo across. Please pick off because we don't have all the time. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'll send it shortly. So, good evening, everyone. Sorry.
Please, let's put off our mic. Frank, go ahead, please.
Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen.
Yeah.
Are you sharing the screen for me? I'm trying to share. It's saying disabled.
Disabled. That is the problem we have now. Oh my God. Meg, do you understand the problem now? He can't share the screen by himself.
Yeah. It shouldn't be a problem. Let me see where settings is, and I will.
And I think the screen he wants to share is in our email, Meg. If you can access it. He sent me an email.
Maybe he should swipe to the left-hand side or right straight to share.
Okay.
I think I've enabled it. You should be able to share now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let me try. Sorry, trying to share the screen.
Understand. Let me see if we. If you can't share it, it means you have to have a good head today to do everything. Okay. Maybe you're right. I think you're on.
Hold on. Just hold on.
Yeah. Okay, so as Frank gets ready, Frank, once you're ready, just let me know. Let me keep us very, very busy. I think Kingsley has taught me how to use English to make people happy even when they're angry. So let me try. So now, as I told you in the email I sent, this has been like a dream, considering that many people need information in so many areas. And over the years, it's been in my heart. But I was like, how do I start really? How do I start? And somehow I just felt like, okay, it commenced with, okay, let's get few people to make some applications. Let's support them with information and whatever they could need for scholarships. And then, by and large, that had continued. And I began to see that people became very much interested in this project. And so I thought, okay, this is a good time to partner with everyone. So you are not just a participant, but a partner. And I want to encourage you to broadcast what we're doing. Our aim is that every child we could reach out to, doesn't matter how rich or how poor, would have an access to education. And when I mean a child, I don't mean just children. Yes, children are part and parcel of it. As I said before, they're the epicenter of this. But every one of us needs support. Not just educational support. Some of us need just someone to talk to. Just someone to relay an idea to. So, and that is what I'm trying to see, that we're here for each other. This is a time for networking. I can see there are bigger people on this platform for today than myself. I am the last person here. Every other person here is far bigger than me. And that is very important. So it's a time to network with bigger people. And if we need anything, someone wrote to me and said, I need a job. I was like, okay, send me your CV, let me see. Is there anybody I know who can be of help to give you a job? Anywhere. But this way, these days, you might call it imamad or knowing somebody, but I think I call it networking. Networking is key in every area. Even for those of us who do research, if you don't network, you wouldn't do much. So Frank, we are still waiting for you, please. If you don't network, you wouldn't do much. So networking is key. Forget the challenges we are having today. I do hope that in subsequent ones we will overcome some of them. That is the problem when it comes to starting something. But there's always something good about new beginnings and startups. You get to pick up something new. Frank, can you hear me? If you cannot share the screen, I think you can go ahead.
Yes, Doc, I'm trying. I will see how I can share it.
I completely understand. If you can't share it, absolutely no worries.
Let me download your presentation and share it from here.
Okay, please. That would be fantastic.
Please, Meg.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening,
morning, good afternoon. Doc,
yeah,
I know it's morning over there.
Thank you for saying good morning because I've not slept. My eyes, you can see my eyes.
I'm sure, I can imagine. I know it's morning over there. Okay, what I'm talking about today is is 2-in-1 actually. Just a minute. Career opportunities in the aviation industry, and then visa refusal at the embassy.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Okay, good. Now it's good.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's good. It's okay.
Okay, my presentation is on career opportunities. Okay, I think it's
you,
okay.
Meg.
Now my screen is showing. Thank you very much, Meg.
Beautiful, Meg. I'm so happy. Thank you, Meg.
Thank you. So, career opportunities in the aviation industry and visa refusal at the embassy. Meg, can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you very much. Now, from this slide, there are core office functions in the industry, which is basically the function of every industry. You have the human resources function. There is a core office function. It's also applicable in the aviation industry. You need HR personnel. You have the finance and accounts. We call them revenue management and revenue accounting in the industry. But it's basically finance, what goes out, what comes in, records of everything. You have the sales and marketing, because aviation is also a service. You market the service. There are also people in sales. You have government affairs, just like you have in regular offices. And then you have call center personnel, just like in technology. You have call center people. You also have customer relations. There are people in charge of customer relations. And then commercial. Commercial involves both ticketing and reservation. Those in the call center, those are the offices, and then those are the airports, as the case may be. It depends on how the airline, how they call it. It depends on the airline method. Now, there's also the ground operations function. Ground operations function, that's my background. Ground operations, airport operations. Now, for Nigeria, most of the domestic airlines, some of them outsource these ground functions to service providers. There are two major service providers in Nigeria. You have NACO, Nigerian Aviation Handling Company, and SACO, Sky Power Aviation Handling Company, CFAC SACO. So if you want to come into the industry in this function, ground operations, it's best you get a job with SACO or NACO, because all international airlines operating in Nigeria outsource these ground operation functions to SACO or NACO. Etihad Airways I work with, we outsource it to SACO, and then they are the ones that handle ground operations function. What are the jobs of the ground operations functions? They are those that handle the basic check-in functions, check-in operations, and then those that handle boarding of the flight. Then there are those who are below the wing, handling ramp operations. Ramp is where the aircraft is parked. So those who are in charge of loading the bags, baggage handling, supervising what the guys are doing, loading cargo in the aircraft, ensuring that the weight and balance tallies, ensuring that everything that the pilot needs for a smooth operation is provided. So these are the people that handles ground operation functions. So for those who are interested in this industry, in this function of aviation, you can also apply to NACO or SACOL. Now, the minimum requirement is just your basic O-level secondary school certificate. But some airlines can say, or some organizations can say, we also want somebody that has degree or HND, as the case may be. But basically, worldwide, the minimum requirement is O-levels and the ability to read and write for ground operations functions. Please, next slide, please. Thank you. Now, before I go to the specialized career choices in the industry, I also want to say that for the ground operation functions, you can also grow. I'm working with an airline. I've worked in ground operations before, not with a service provider, but with an airline too. That was why I was trained on the job and then grew to where I am now. So you can grow to become duty operations manager, duty manager as the case may be, manage a station for an airline, also grow to be head of operations and the rest. So there's also a growth path, albeit not as easy as the specialized career choices in the industry. Now, there are 4 core specialized career choices in aviation. These are licensed careers. So they are licensed by the aviation parastatals, like I will show you at the end of the slide of the presentation. You have the flight dispatchers, you have the engineer/line maintenance people, you also have the cabin crew and the pilots. Among these 4 core specialized functions, it's only the engineers and line maintenance that you need to have maybe a college degree. You need to go to a college or an engineering school to get specification, to get training for it. For flight dispatch, you just need your secondary school low level before you are accepted for the training. Same for cabin crew, same for pilots. The country can say, okay, the company can say, oh, we need somebody that has a degree because we want a higher level of understanding. But basically, to go for flight dispatch training, for cabin crew training, for pilot training, all you need is just your O-level degree. What do flight dispatchers do? They are the ones that dispatches the flight. They plan the flight plan. What does flight plan mean? I'm going from Lagos to Abuja. Lagos to Abuja is, for sake of discussion, 10 nautical miles. What's the quantity of fuel I need for this service? What's the load that this aircraft is carrying? What's the weight of this aircraft? What is the weather looking like? I call NIMET. What is the weather in Abuja now? What is the weather en route? They are the ones that does all this. They consider all these factors before they now prepare the flight plan, the flight path the captain can take. They also consider, you are going from Lagos to London. There is war in Libya. We cannot fly through Libya. Which other parts can we go through? So those are the jobs of the flight dispatchers. They dispatch the flights. They prepare everything for the pilots, the fuel that they need, the quantity of fuel that they need. They also check the airport they are going to. What kind of facility do they have? What fire category facility do they have? Can a 737 land in that airport? Take, for instance, in Nigeria, I know Emirates was planning to bring an Airbus 380 before the pandemic came in, but the country is not ready for A380 because they need to put some things in place before that kind of aircraft can come into Nigeria. So it's the job of the flight dispatch to see all these things and then arrange it before the flight. So he incorporates all this in the flight plan. He works with the pilots, he works with the load controllers. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, he works with the load controllers to ensure everything is in place, and then he incorporates everything into the flight plan, which the captain uses. Pilots flying from Lagos to Abuja, he works with the flight plan. Everything is there. He knows the weather, he knows the fuel quantity, he knows everything he needs. He knows the load that is on that aircraft. Is it balanced? The weight and balance of the aircraft. There are some terminologies I don't have to use because we have laymen here, so let me not go into that. We have what we call the trim sheet to ensure that the aircraft is balanced. So for anybody that wants to go into flight dispatcher, this is your basic function. And then you must be licensed. After going through the training, There are training institutes in Nigeria, but please, before you go to any training school, be sure they are licensed by NCAA, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, and IATA. If they are not certified, you can go to the school and then you come out, it's just like going for free. But if they are licensed, when you come out of the school, you have a certificate and then you have a license to dispatch an aircraft. If you don't go to a recognized school, an accredited school, you can never have a license. And then you just go to the school and come out. And then the next set is engineers/line maintenance. I've talked about it. You need to go to an aeronautical school to have this certificate, a technical school or aeronautical school,
Okay.
as the case may be. Can you hear me?
Okay. Go ahead, Kingsley. Go ahead, Frank, please. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm having calls.
Just
Go
like
ahead.
the basic engineering field, what do? They are the ones that work in the aircraft, service the aircraft, and then if there's any issue with the plane, they fix it. If it's one they cannot fix, they send it for further checks, as the case may be. But you must be registered and licensed to be a flight engineer to work on an aircraft. So like you have a mechanic for BMW, you also have a mechanic for Volvo, you also have a mechanic for Mercedes. Yes, they can all do the general servicing. They can service a car, change oil filter. The same thing you have in the aviation field, the engineers. If I'm an engineer for a Boeing 737, it's a Boeing. Yes, if I'm certified for a Boeing 737, I cannot come and dispatch a Boeing 787. Yes, I'm an engineer on the flight, but I cannot dispatch a Boeing 787, even though I'm licensed to do a Boeing 737. That's how it is, just like the average mechanic and engineer for cars. So there are specializations. So as you go through to the school, they train you generally for the engineering job. If you come to the airline or the engineering agency, because you have also some airlines also outsource it to the engineering companies, you are going, they take you for further training, and then you are licensed to dispatch a 787, you are licensed to dispatch an Airbus 320. And the aircraft cannot depart without the engineer dispatching it. If the engineer is not there, the flight will not go because it's one that dispatches it. He says this aircraft is certified fit to fly. So that's the job of the, basically job of the line maintenance like engineer. Then you have the cabin crew. Cabin crew is the most popular among the specializations. Anybody can become a cabin crew. Like I said, all you need is secondary school, low level. You go to the aviation schools, like I pointed out, the ones in Nigeria, there are schools abroad. Anyone you didn't fit, you go there. There's also Nigerian College of Aviation Technology in Zaria. You go for the training, but first thing, you must know how to swim for obvious reasons, because if there's any emergency, you should be able to swim. So those are part of the training they give to you. Once you go to the school, you come out, you'll be certified by NCAA, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. They'll give you a cabin crew license, which you also use to operate the flight.
Frank,
yes.
Pause a minute. Meg.
Yeah.
Meg.
Hi,
yes, this good. There seem to be individuals in the waiting room. Can you go there and accept all of them, please?
Right. Okay.
Please. And try to put your eyes on the message box. I'm trying to message you, but it seems I know you are very occupied.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to go through. I don't know what people can see right now when I'm sharing my screen, so I'm trying not to go to a lot of places.
Yeah, I understand. Just go to the waiting room and see if you can accept them, please.
Sure. All right.
I don't know how many persons are there, but
I mean, you can also activate one of those buttons that allow free entry now, so you don't keep going back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Meg, did you hear what Ken said?
Yeah, I did. The presenter can go on. I'll just figure it out.
Okay, Frank, please go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I'm having a big issue with my video, but let me continue while I sort that out. Can you hear me?
Please. Yes, we can hear you clearly. We can hear you.
Okay, the cabin crew, like I said, you go to the training school, you get the cabin crew license from Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority before you can practice. I'm talking about Nigeria now because we're in Nigeria. It's the same thing applicable over the world. With the license from Nigeria, you can practice as a cabin crew anywhere. But if you don't have that license and it's renewable, so it expires, it's renewable, so you have to renew it. Depends on how long it's renewed for. So that's basically for cabin crew. And then the next specialization, which is the last amongst the four, is pilots.
Okay.
Pilots, captain. The minimum requirement for this is also O level, and then the ability to read and write. So you can go to pilot school. There is one in Nigerian Civil Aviation Technology in Zaria. I know there is one in Kwara State or so. You can go abroad, South Africa, Florida, wherever you decide to go for the training. You go for that pilot training, and then when you're done with your training, you come back. If you get a job with an airline, you now go into specialization. You get the general training as a pilot, and then you come back, you go into specialization. That's why you have somebody flying an Airbus 320. It's not the same person flying the Boeing 787 because you have to go to that specialization after you get the captain pilot license. And then, can I go on? Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Now, when you come out of the pilot school, you start as a third officer or a second officer. It depends on how you learned it. Third officer, second officers, there are those, if you enter a cockpit, the cockpit of an aircraft, the third officers and second officers are the ones that sit behind the pilots. If there are 4 crew in that aircraft, 2 people are behind the pilots, and then 2 people are sitting on the left and the right. Second officer and third officers are those people. Third officer, you grow to become a second officer. Second officer, you grow to become a first officer. First officer is the person that sits on the right of the aircraft. On the right of the aircraft is the first officer. He are also recognized by badges. So you see 2 badges, 3 badges, 4 badges. And then the pilot in command, who is in charge of the flight, sits on the left of the aircraft. Now, if I go to a pilot school and come out maybe I came out 2000, and then my friend came out 2010, I might still be working as a second officer, even in 2020, while my friend has become a pilot in 2018. Why? It's not measured by the number of years you've had the certificate or started flying. It's measured by your flying hours. So how many hours have I clocked flying? Have I clocked 20 hours? Have I clocked 1,000 hours? So that's how you grow. So if you reach a specific number of hours, you are promoted to second officer, and then eventually get promoted to a full captain. So it doesn't matter when you came out. It's not dependent on how fast you come out from school. It's how far you go in your flying. So it depends on your flying hours. And then from a pilot, you can grow to become director of flight operations. You can become chief pilot. You can become head of training and the rest. So basically, you are not restricted to flying. You can even go as far as becoming DG of an agency in the aviation industry. So the fact that you're a pilot today doesn't mean you fly and then you retire as a pilot. You can go on to become different levels in the airline. We have pilots that are CEO of airlines. We have pilots that are director of flight operations. We have pilots that are executive directors. The opportunity is limitless. So those are the 4 core specialized career choices in the aviation industry. Please, next slide, please. No, I think there is one before. Okay. Okay, thank you. The aviation agencies, I mentioned before that. No, that's the next slide, please. Okay, thank you. All specialized career I mentioned earlier can gather experiences and work with the aviation regulatory agencies. What are the agencies? You have the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. They are the one that issues notices to airmen and say, oh, this runway is not serviceable. You cannot use this runway. They are just the ones in charge of the airspace. Then you have the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. They are the landlords of the airports. Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, they are the airport landlords. So they are the ones that manages the airports all over the country, apart from the private airports. You have the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. They are the main regulators of the industry. So they are the one that issues the license to the pilots, the engineers, the cabin crew, and the flight dispatch. So these are the main regulators of the agency, of the industry. And then you have Nigeria Meteorological Agency. Before a flight dispatcher will dispatch a flight, he wants to know the weather. He contacts NIMET. What is the weather condition between Lagos and Abuja? He tells you, for Lagos, this is weather condition and the rest. So they are also parasital in the aviation industry. And then Accident Investigation Bureau, AIB. These are the ones that when there is an incident or accident, they're the ones that comes to investigate. And then NCAT, Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria. That's where you train pilots, you train cabin crew, you also train flight dispatch. It's owned by the federal government. And then you have the Ministry of Aviation. So I can be a pilot today, and then I go on to become the DG of NCA, or I go on to become a I work with the ministry. You can be a ground dispatch person today, you go on to work with the Ministry of Aviation. It's a wide net, it's open to all. Next slide, please. So quickly, I know I'm running out of time. The second part of this presentation, embassy visa. There is an echo. Look, I can hear myself. Okay, embassy visa interview. Why do young people get? There is an echo. Please, can you mute?
Please, okay. Please, if your mic is on, turn it off. Turn off your mic. Turn off your microphone, please. Frank, please go ahead.
Okay,
please. Sorry.
Let me go ahead. Embassy visa interview. For every visa application received, the applicant is treated as a potential migrant, and certain issues are looked at by the visa officer. So basically, there are 4 major points here, because the visa officer looks at everybody coming to apply for visa as the potential migrants. Maybe they want to run to my country. So why are people denied? The first thing the visa officer looks at is, let me put them in percentages. Is 100%. This 4 is 25%. What is your purpose of travel? Why are you visiting my country? Why are you coming to the UK? You want to visit your family members. Who are these family members? What do they have in the UK? What background do they have? Are they UK citizens or are they residents of the United Kingdom? You want to visit your friends. Who is this your friend? What is his level of stay in the UK? You want to stay in the hotel. Have you paid for the hotel reservation? So that's the purpose of travel. They want to look at the purpose of travel before they give you the visa. And then your proof of finance. You are staying in the hotel. How much is the hotel going for? The hotel per night is $100. You are staying 5 nights or 7 nights. That's $700. Feeding and the rest. How much is your salary per month? Maybe your salary is $500, and then you want to spend over $2,000 for one visit. You look at it. Maybe this case person is running away. Do you have steady income? Do you have current balance to cover the trip and more to come back to? When you finish the trip, do you have money you are going to come back to live off? So they look at that, proof of finance. Can you afford the tickets? Can you afford the lifestyle? Can your salary carry you? Can your business carry you for this visit? Then the third one is ties back home. Do you have a viable job or business you are running? Do you have property? Do you have family you are coming back to? Or you are just a young guy that wants to run away? So they look at these two. And then finally, travel history. demonstrating a travel culture, especially to Western countries. Like if you've been to the US and Schengen countries, it's easy for them to give you a visa to the UK because, okay, you've gone to Western countries and then you came back, you went for a visit. So when they look at these four reasons, if you get 20, 20, 20, 20 in each, maybe that's 80 over 100. They say, okay, he meets the criteria, we can give him the visa. Or he doesn't meet the criteria, you won't give him the visa. So before you apply for a visa, look at these 4 points. Make sure you tick them rightly. If you don't tick them correctly, you're shooting yourself in the feet. Now, everything lies at the discretion of the visa officer. For example, if you are going to the US, you go to the embassy for a physical interview. The officer can look at your presentation and say, oh, this guy presents, he looks very good. Let me give you an instance. When my wife and my family went to apply for the US visa, we carried every document and everything. The only question they asked us, where do you work? How much is your salary? Who are you going to see? They didn't look at every document we carried. The officer didn't look at it. And then he gave us the visa. So it can happen like that. The first time I went to the UK, I was a single guy. The first visa, they refused me. I saved money in my account and then I applied. They didn't give me. The second time, I was working. I had about maybe 10,000 in my account. I applied and then they gave me the visa. So it also depends on the visa officer. It's at his own discretion. He can look at you and say, okay, let me just give him the visa. He can look at you and say, oh, I'm not giving you the visa. So it's at the discretion of visa officer. But it's always better to put yourself in a high percentage and leave the rest. So if you are getting 90% from these 4 points, then you have a better chance of getting the visa than somebody that is getting 10 or 20%. Thank you very much, Doc. I know I'm out of time. So
Frank,
questions.
God bless you. God bless you. Oh, I wanted to see, I said we should write questions. Let's not forget. Okay, someone is asking a question, Frank. He says, Victor says, can they deny visa from someone on scholarship?
Yes. Victor, I saw your question. They can deny visa for someone on scholarship. Yes. Like I said, you can present everything and the visa officer can say, I'm not giving you this visa. Maybe there's even a little, maybe something you did not do well, or maybe you did everything correctly. It's also at the discretion of the visa officer. But when you are going for this interview, go with a positive mindset. So when you put everything, cross your T's and dot your I's, you know that on your own end, you've done everything you need to do. And then let the officer do what he has to do. So even if you're on scholarship, you can be denied visa. It's the discretion of the visa officer. And also you can be denied based on those 4 points. You don't meet 1 or 2 of those criteria. Yes, scholarship, yes, they are paying for it, but still, your travel history, it depends.
Okay, Frank, let me ask you a question, Frank. This is personal and it's for everybody. We have many applicants and potential employees in this forum, and I'm so much concerned about them. Not people like Charles Otu. I'm seeing Charles Otu, who is very rich and has his own media industry. What if someone wants to work in the, let's say, in an airport in Lagos, let's say Lagos Airport, and I don't have anybody? And I know Nigeria, the application process can be very boring. What is my chance? What can I do?
See, let me tell you, social media is a powerful tool. You want to work with an airline, you can go on LinkedIn. Who are the people in this airline? Follow them. Like posts, comments. It's easy. Before you know it, opportunity can come and then you say you can apply. But yes, I know Nigerian factor. Oh, you must know somebody. I didn't know anybody when I got a job in the industry.
That was many years ago.
Where I started from. No, but Doc, where I'm working, I started working here 7 years ago. I didn't know anybody. Yes, I was recommended because I have an experience. But I pointed out in my earlier presentation, there is SACOL and NACO. You can apply to these agencies. When you start working with, if you are seconded to an airline, if you're seconded to my airline, we need a new recruit for Etihad Airways in Lagos. I'll consider those guys that are working with those service providers that are working with me because they understand my system easily. So you can start from there. You understand? Start from the service providers.
I do.
Airpiece. You
Okay.
can go to Airpiece website, apply, start from there. And then, sorry, what I didn't mention initially is, even if you are a ground staff, like what Virgin Nigeria did it then, Airpiece is also doing it. As a ground
Okay.
staff, they can tell you, we want to sponsor you and train you to become a pilot. At
Okay.
the end of the day,
Very
after
quick,
coming out, you can work for
a
4 or
very
5
quick
years.
question.
Yeah.
A very quick question. It seems Kingsley is blinking his eyes to ask a question. Kingsley, any questions?
Well, just a follow-up. It's quite related to yours. I would have waited, but maybe so that he'll quickly answer it in the same direction. It's almost the same thing anyway, but I want you to give us an idea. You have an insider information. Now,
Yeah.
A young graduate, say, who studied English and read English, who has no connection whatsoever to aviation and may not have interest even really working there, but is just a normal everyday Nigerian graduate who is looking for a job. All right. And when you're a desperate applicant, you could try your hands in so many places. Now, as an outsider, I tend to think that the most lucrative of all these career paths you've mentioned in the aviation industry would die with the pilots, right? Right.
Yes.
Beyond the pilot, those who are the ground staff like yourself, like other, how lucrative? You can give us just an idea so that if, for instance, because I mean, airports are in the cities, they're not in Nsukka, for instance, where I come from. So that I know that if I'm working in airports in Enugu or in Lagos, I have to live in the city, and that comes with a lot of financial burden. So what is the remuneration like? I think that's these long stories. That's just the summary
Okay.
of what's the
How
remuneration
much
like.
money then they pay for this campaign? How much
I think I'm telling so much stories. It's a long story.
I
So that's
understand you.
yeah.
You see, like you said, apart from the pilots, maybe cabin crew, dispatch, the industry the pay is not so fantastic. That's just the truth. You need to have passion for it.
Give us a range. Give us a range, please.
A range.
Yes.
Dog.
Yeah. If I want to leave my current job, I need to know how much the extent I can get. Yes.
What industry are you in, Kingsley?
I'm a teacher.
No. Uncle,
a teacher.
Frank,
Yes.
give us a range for a starter. How much? From 100,000 to 1 million, from 3 million to 7 million, from 1 naira to 50 kobo. That's all.
For a starter, it depends. Some people work with SACO starters, they earn 150, 200,000. It depends on negotiation. Some earn 80,000. Some work with airlines, they earn less than that. So it depends on the airline and the agency.
Kingsley,
but it's not so fantastic.
Frank and Kingsley, thank you for your argument. Frank, thank you so much. I appreciate the fact that you're able to come here. Our time is so badly chopped up.
I know.
Thank you so much. I know you also have another schedule now.
No,
Thank you. I'll get back to you.
I'll jump back. No problem.
But the truth is this. If you are here and you need a job in the airport, I don't want to listen to Frank, whatever he's talking about. He has to help us. Somebody needs to be employed. That's my own. So please, I don't care. Whatever he's going to do, let me know, I'll get to him. That's all. If he has to employ us, that's just my problem. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. God bless you, please.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Thank you. You're now free. Very good. Chinda. Mary Chinda. Where is Mary?
She's here.
She's here, okay. Because she's been blinking her eyes all the while, and I've been trying. Mary, are you there?
I think she's gone.
She wrote me a message that she's going to the office. You are here. I'm sorry. I apologize. Biko, nega angola. Biko. I apologize. That's the Imo people's English. Imo people's Igbo language. Biko. Please, Mary, go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yeah, Mary, go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Okay, we can hear you. Yeah, I can see. Thank you, Frank. That is very good. Frank, thank you, my brother. This is so tight on us. Yes, Mary, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, guys.
Good evening, Mary.
Good evening, Mr. Ken. Okeke Ebube, Kingsley Ugwani, of course, of the Oxford Dictionary. I say hello to you.
Thank you, Mary.
Don, yeah, Gideon. I think I have Galaxy Grand Prime Plus, and then of course,
Yeah, it's so many. It's so many. Even in next screen, you still see somebody. So go ahead.
I'm glad to be here. So, can I use your earphone? Do you have one? Okay, so I'm asked to speak about the media and opportunities for women in the media. Do I have your attention?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Sure, you do.
Okay, so basically the media, thank you, sir. The media is, thank you. Hello?
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, I guess you can hear me clearly now.
Yeah, the sound is not so good. Maybe due to network weakness, but you can't do anything about that.
Okay, is my sound better now? Should be.
Kingsley, how can you get any sound, good sound?
I do get, but it's not great, but it's manageable. It's showing me that your bandwidth is low. Zoom is saying Mary Chinda's bandwidth is low, but we can manage. Yes, we can hear you, Mary.
Oh, okay. All right. So I've been 5 years or a little more in the practicing media hands-on in Nigeria, and this is one of those professions where I would say that.
Sorry, Mary. Sorry to interrupt you, Mary. The sound is really bad. Okay, and I can see people's faces squeezing.
Yeah,
and
I can see Ken is trying to punch my nose because of that. So I'm trying to switch from Ken.
Can you try it? Can you try without the earpiece to check if it should be better, please?
Can you hear me now?
I think it's similar.
It's almost the same thing. This is.
Can you hear me?
I think that's better.
Okay, so the media is one place where I do not think that being a male or being a female is a limitation at all. I have 5 years of media practice in Nigeria. Started off from a little local television in Enugu television. Then I moved to from just news reporting to doing a program, and I didn't know how to do anything better than just doing. Are you there?
We are here, but the sound is not our friend at all. I don't know what is going on. Quite unfortunate. Such an important discussion, but let's see how we can manage.
Can anyone hear better now? I'm not using the earpiece.
Okay, please go ahead. Let's see. We have to forbear.
Okay, so I'm just going to do 1 more minute. If it's not fine, maybe someone else can take turns, and then I can adjourn.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see what happens.
All right. So, where I started off from a local television station where I didn't know how to do anything better than doing news reporting, and then I grew in the ranks. Then afterwards, I was tired of just being a local girl in a local station, a small fish, and I wanted to come to Lagos. So I did the unusual. I resigned from the television station, went back to UNM, did a master's, And then as God will have it, I enrolled because, see, the media is like every other profession where if you have to build a brand for yourself, then you must be willing to stand out, not just standing out. You must be willing to pay the price. Paying the price is daring to be different. Paying the price is knowing you're honest. Paying the price is delivering on the job. You know, for journalists, it's got to be accuracy, correctness is very important in whatever you are reporting, whatever it is that you are saying or broadcasting or airing. All right, I'm going to have to adjourn because someone else says I can't hear anymore, but let me just finish my speech plan. Now, and then afterwards, I came to Lagos, did a pronunciation or elocution class at the Radio Nigeria Training School, then went to channels, did a little bit of field work in the newsroom. The Channels TV News is close to CNN, you know, where 24 hours people are working, people are going out, they are reporting, you know, others are on the deck. There's news reporting, there's news production, there's program production. All of those things are the three different things that go on in every TV station that you're seeing, including CNN, including Al Jazeera. It's an avalanche of people, you know, ensuring that what you're seeing on the screen, you know, is worth your time. All right. And so from Channels Television, then I got the job of Fox Plus TV, but it had to do with leaving my small local village, you know, where I had gotten a recognition from government saying an award for 50 most influential people when he was there. McKinsey was amongst them then, and you know, a little award. All right. So this is where I'm going to drop it. I want to talk about the media now, but if you can hear me, if I have up to 5 persons that can hear me, then I'm going to go ahead and talk about the media.
Go ahead. Mary, please go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Now, what is the media? The media is a plural for the noun medium. The medium is the channel of communication. So as I'm speaking to you already, we are communicating. Now there's a course in Nigerian universities called mass communication. The reason it is called mass communication is because it is talking to more than one and more than two persons, all right? So it's a 4-year course that recently this year, the NUC have had to make a really tough decision of saying, rather than churn out graduates who pretend to know all 4 adjuncts of mass communication, that is newspaper, broadcast, TV, radio, and sorry, broadcast is radio and television, newspaper, PR, and advertising. All of those are 2 adjuncts of mass communication. So rather than in these 4 years trying to know all 4 things, why don't we just get people who are going to graduates or undergraduates who are going to study, you know, one of those adjuncts and understand it? Because really, if you live abroad, and I show a lot of people here live abroad, that is the reason people are better off abroad, because they don't study everything. They study one thing, and they're good at it. In very developed countries, I mean, in the US, there are people who just go to study the history of CNN, the evolution of CNN in the last 4 years, and they come up with a master's in that. All right, but we run a course in Nigeria or we used to run a course in Nigeria where you go through 4 years studying your first year introduction to mass communication, understanding what mass communication is. Your second year, they're getting you into the nitty-gritties of what advertising is, what public relations is, what news is. That is, if you're going to do newspaper or if you're going to do radio or TV. And then in your 3rd year, they're sending you out 3 months to just go to any media house. Sorry, to go to any media house. I mean, the media house is not even take it seriously. After all they do is to get to send you to, you know, go and buy food for the staff and all of that, except things have changed right now. Then in your third year and your fourth year, they're trying to teach you more about you know, 4 of the different specialties. In other words, you graduate and you really don't even have a specialty. All right, but now the things have changed. You go into the university, it's either you have a love for writing. So you probably want to be a columnist, or you want to be a newspaper reporter, because newspaper writing is totally different from TV writing. TV and radio writing, broadcast writing is conversational. Broadcast writing is not just conversational. You know, it's spicy. It is worth your time. It is interpersonal. You know, in broadcast writing or in broadcast presentation, you are talking to one person. You know, you're talking to the person, and so you're seeing the person. All right, so the styles of writing are different. So if you want to major in newspaper writing, then you major in newspaper writing. Or if you want to do public relations, which is a huge arm of mass communication. In it, we have where the guest teaches about the integrated marketing, communications, and all of that, and of course in advertising and all of that. So that is what the media in Nigeria mass communication in Nigeria basically prepares you for. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you follow me, guys?
Yes, we do. We do. Please go ahead.
All right. So you graduate from that, and then you come into the real world, and then you realize that in the real world of broadcast, because I mean, I fell into this, in the real world of broadcast, pretty much all of those things that they're teaching you are theories. For instance, if you're a student of mass communication in Nigeria, you realize that there's something called the authoritarian theory. Then we come to the point of social responsibility, which is what the media is now advised to do, where you get to, instead of the government guiding you, you know, you get to self-guide yourself. You have to self-censor yourself and be responsible, because whatever you say, whatever you put out there, you know, is what people are going to believe. Now, when we studied mass communication, the era of accepting new media, social media, as part of the new media wasn't there. But right now we have a whole new media, which is the internet, the Twitter, the Facebook, you know, Instagram, where people have now become citizen journalists. In other words, people have now taken up the responsibility of mass communicating information to people, even without being trained. They're getting to use the media. They're getting to use the phones that I'm using right now. They're getting to use their laptops, you know, to mass communicate. They're getting to, you know, information no longer has to go through the editor, who is the gatekeeper, or the reporter, the professional journalist, who is the gatekeeper. Information is just put out there without anybody being socially responsible for what goes out. Am I communicating?
Yes, do, please. Go ahead, please.
Okay, Don, your voice is the only one I'm hearing. Guys, please can you write me if I'm communicating? So in the
we can hear you. We are listening.
Like, am I making sense? Are you tracking with me, guys?
Yes, we are together.
Okay. So in the past, people basically Charles, it's okay. So in the past, people would have to hold on until they get newspaper editorials to, you know, for their belief systems to be molded. All right, and then the newspaper editor would have to think about it. The papers like This Day, like Sun newspaper, Washington Post, whatever, would have to take out their time to explain something as little as the Edo elections and say, this is what it is. This is the stand of this newspaper. All right? I think it was Punch that in the last few months said we're no longer going to address the president as President Buhari, but as a military dictator. That is the stand of the news media. That is of that news medium. That's the stand of the news medium. So in the past, that was journalism as it were, being done properly, being done by professionals, people having to go through the gatekeeping process, where it is what the editorial board and the editors come up with that informs what you swallow, what you believe. Okay, but right now, information is put out there. We're living in a world of in an information society, in an information society where people just there are thousands and millions of things put out there at the convenience of your phone. You know, it was sometime when a particular scholar of communication, Marshall McLuhan, some in the 18th century, when he foresaw that communication would now no longer be on the newspapers, hard copy newspapers or TV, that communication is going to be as simple as your phone. He predicted and said, we're going to have an information society, communication, whatever society, and people doubted him. My point is, this is what media has become right now. Now, what are the opportunities in the media? First, I must explain to you that first, because there's an avalanche of citizen journalists, there's an avalanche of people like the Linda KG who really didn't go through studying mass communication, now chancing on new media with the opportunities that blogs create right now. And people just studying English language and learning how to write and writing articles and putting it out there. It is more challenging for the professional journalist to be able to, gain the trust or the relevance that he or she is supposed to have with the audience. So being thorough, knowing your audience is a very essential quality that the journalist, the 21st century journalist must have. Now, I'm in the field every day. I think I'm one of the best at my TV station. I think I know what it is that I'm doing. But I also know that I have colleagues who didn't even study mass comm. And the only time, who are also in this game, and the only time I seem to have an edge better than them, or more than them, or over them, is when they come up with headlines and I say, no, this headline doesn't work. Normally, I'm an English language freak, so I know the SVO, subject, verb, and object thing. And usually I was taught that headlines should be direct. There's a principle of directness, there's a principle of simplicity, where we say don't use the word purchase when there's a word like buy, a three-letter word. Don't use highfalutin words. Don't use very big grammar when you can use little easy to relate with grammar. All right. So my point is, we have people who are not journalists, who have been indoctrinated, who have to learn. All right. So what do you need to do? You need to study. You need to learn. If you're at the university, if you're doing just a normal degree, or you're doing a master's, you need to learn. You need to study. Things are evolving, and our universities in Nigeria have to ensure. I'm working at being a lecturer, right? I pray I get a PhD scholarship abroad. I want to be a lecturer. I want to be able to raise a generation of journalists who know what it is that they are doing. Okay, now if you're a journalist or an undergraduate, you need to understand how the mass communication process works. You need to understand that you are the encoder. In other words, you are the source. All right, so communication is a three-pronged thing. You are the source. What are the qualities that the source must have to be able to send information to the receiver? All right, the receiver is no longer called the receiver. It's not called the audience. It's now called the social media audience, now called the television audience. That's why CNN will have millions and millions of receivers, viewers, audience, the channels, TV people, the TVC people. Now, as the source, what is your style? What do you need to know? How versatile
More
do you need to be?
5
What exactly
minutes,
do you...
Mary.
Okay.
I hope we are good. Sorry.
1
Sorry.
minute, right?
More 5 in total. More 5 in total.
2. Okay, I just take 2 more minutes. So, what is it that you need to know? What is it? Who is your audience? What do you need to know? You need to go. You need to study. Away from just being able to speak really simple English or basic English. How as the source or as the encoder, what do you need to know? What is the journalistic style? What do you need to know? When you get into any media house, there's something called the house style. CNN has it, channels have it, what's it called? Chance.
BBC. I know of BBC
So
Pidgin.
every BBC also has it.
Yeah.
Everybody has it. Okay. So the point is you need to understand. You need to learn the style of your TV station. But away from the style of your TV station, as a journalist, as the source, what is your personal style? What is your style of writing? That's why people like Ohanja way back in school say to us, originality. As a journalist, the way I speak, the way I'm going to report live events, the way if I get to Sambisa and I'm seeing what's going on and I'm joining my news station on Skype, the way I'm going to see this same thing that is happening is different from the way my colleague Olu Phillips at Channels TV would see it. So first, you have to realize that you have your own style. You need to stay with your style. When you start working with CNN, you need to understand, okay, how can I use this style to adapt to CNN? Do you understand me?
Very
So
good.
I hope you guys are tracking with me. Now, as in the media, there are several roles. There's a role of the reporter, which I am, that you go out there, gather the news story, with your visuals, tell the story every day. It's an everyday thing because people want to know about the stories that are making the headlines. Then there's a place of the producer. The producer is two-pronged. One, the producer, it's either you're a producer for a TV show, maybe the news at 10, the Channels TV news at 10, the Plus TV news on the hour, or you're a producer for a program. I do either ways. I can produce the news, I can produce a live show, all right? We just did Fox Politics Thursday and Friday, and I had to stand in for my colleague. Production is an intense business. All right. I hope that in the next class I'll be able to teach or talk about this thing. So there's a reporter, there's a producer, and then there's a part of the transmission. The transmission is the channel. It's what helps you from the source get information out, from the news studio, that's the source, to the receiver, to the audience, through, of course, the channel. The channel is the television, the channel is the transmission, the satellite, the bandwidth and everything that has got to go with it. The only way you can grow in this business is to be a step ahead of yourself. Be your own competition. There's something called, being in the corporate world, I've got to realize that there's something called not just stakeholder mapping, but career planning, career mapping. Where do I want to be? I want to be in Plus TV for a few years. The maximum I've given myself to do my broadcast is 10 years, after which I want to go back to the classroom. I've done 3 years already. The next place I want to work is the BBC or CNN. That's where I want to work. And then after that, I'm resigning, I'm going to the classroom. So you must have a plan. This is what I want. This is where I want to be. And this is how I'm going to get there. I think I have a question. Pastor Don, sorry, I'm not able to exhaust it, but I told you I was trying to figure this. I do 3 minutes.
It's okay. It's okay. Chinda, I understand. Our time is not our friend. And technology has also not helped us.
Someone is asking,
okay, go ahead, please.
Someone says, Okay, someone says that thank you so much. Please, this is the news we got earlier this year. How factual is it? The NDC has phased out mass communication. Yes, it's very true. Prosper Chimezie. Yes, it's very true. So now, instead of going to study mass communication, you study newspaper production, newspaper writing. Newspaper writing is different, is a world of its own. Newspaper production itself is a world of its own, even though the way newspaper is produced now is different from how we're taught because of technology. Or you do broadcast, or you do advertising, or you do PR. Okay, so someone says, how is true journalism fighting those bloggers so as not to turn our media houses into packing stores? Well, the media houses in Nigeria are actually packing stores, because the truth is journalists are not well paid. So people do journalism of Ghana must go bags. You know, you see CEOs, you see politicians owning TV stations like Bola Tinubu and TVC, like, I mean, people just own television stations. So objectivity, I've come to realize with age that objectivity is never absolute. What could be objective for you may never be objective to the other person. And what is objective to you depends on how you're seeing it. It depends on your worldview. Like philosophy, we teach us philosophy 101 and 201 will teach us. All right, so it depends on your worldview. All right, so the second question is, bloggers, yes, of course, bloggers have tried to take over. People like Linda KG back then in the 2015 election, that's how she made a lot of money. But sometimes they are not accurate. How mainstream media still stays on top, you know, despite all of the investigative journalism. Yes, we're reviving it. In fact, across the Africa, that is our selling point. I've done a lot of when the suicide cases happened last year, I went on the cover somewhat, and I did the story. My colleagues have been able to do stories that are winning us awards. So we're doing a lot of investigative journalism. Pastor John will send you the links later. Yes, we're doing a lot of that. But our media houses are not putting their money where their mouths are, because see, if as a journalist I'm willing to stake my life for a story, but you can't provide me a camera, you know, those hidden cameras. How am I supposed to go and do these things? As a journalist, Richard Quest is on high level insurance. If anything happens to him, you know, his family is covered. But that doesn't happen to Nigeria. In Nigeria, in fact, there are media stations that don't even pay salaries like AIT. There are media stations that own their staff. So there's no good enough package for the Nigerian journalists. So how do you expect us to give our best?
Okay.
You know, if I'm not well paid, I would think about you doing a story that is going to get the government to give me money rather than doing the job. But because I get well paid, yes, I think I get well paid. You know, I'm able to do the job, and the money's not focused. Sorry, the second question is, it seems to an arbitrary Nigeria that media houses have been hijacked by evil entities. That's true. And that true reports even come from these untrained channels. Do you think that approved media channels have replaced their consciences with the love of money, thereby not making the masses not giving the masses true reports of situations, hence resulting to instability in our society? Well, instability is not caused by journalists, but have some media houses been hijacked? Yes, of course. And that's because when he who plays the pipe dictates the tune. So if we spend more money, you know, supporting media houses, supporting independent journalists, and making them truly detached from the purses of their owners, then maybe we can begin to have independent journalism of accuracy, journalism that is not based on brown envelopes.
Thank you, Mary. Yes, thank you. I've been scratching my head. I don't want to stop you because what you're saying is very critical and important, but we don't have the time. For the sake of the media, we have a director of a print media in our midst, and I want to give him 30 seconds. Charles Otu. Charles, editor, you have 30 seconds, only 30 seconds. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone in the house.
Yeah.
Good evening.
I think Mary has done well in summarily stating the challenges facing us in the media. I think the angle she was trying to highlight that wasn't too clearly pointed out is the fact that most the current thing they are battling in the media is what we call infodemics. Infodemics actually means that just like we are battling the global pandemic, that's COVID-19, people have shunned out consistently information that turned out to be false. At the end, they are not sorry about it, they are not apologetic, and it's as if the general fact check mission of the journalists are brought to its end at this point in our life. So is an aspect that researchers are currently working on, infodemics. How do you handle informations that are pandemic in nature? Informations that are endemic in nature, that turns out eventually to be false. You know, so is an aspect that
for instance, Charles, yesterday the story broke about the death of Ajimobi, who is purportedly one of the factional chairman of the APC. Only for us to realize we had to go and investigate. Only for us to realize that it was not true, but the story had been everywhere. Why? It was politically motivated. Now, the difference between these bloggers who carry the story and we who are the mainstream media is fact-checking.
Okay, thank you. The difference between the mainstream media and the infodemics people is fact-checking. So says Charles Otu and Mary. I completely agree with you. I have no argument. I'm a layman in this area. I have no claims to whatsoever. Okay, so please, Mary, God bless you richly. How I wish you have the whole world of time, but we don't. Thank you so much, Mary. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. In Japanese, they say arigato. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And now, what do you mean? Come on, my friend, be careful. Kingsley, okay, Chinonye.
Well, hello everyone.
Yeah, Chinonye has been waiting so patiently. A scientist, and she's sitting just before water something. Chinonye, you're enjoying yourself. For please, Chinonye, please. You can see our time problem. Go ahead, please.
It's okay. Well, thank you so much for having me here, Daniel, and co-facilitators. It's really a pleasure to talk to young graduates. You know, when you reached out to me saying that, asking if I would be able to talk to young graduates, like, I was very excited because I share a lot of characteristics as them, right? I am young, one.
Yes, I remember those days. You don't talk to me in department, but it's okay. I'm forgiving you.
Yeah. And secondly, I mean, I was a graduate of, you know, I had my undergrad, I had master's, so I was a graduate of bachelor's and master's and now PhD. So I see myself, you know, I see a lot of struggles that I have encountered. You know, I see them going through all of those struggles as well. So that's why it is really, really my pleasure to talk about this, to share some insights that I've gained throughout, you know, my journey so far. Okay, so you wanted me to talk about careers like in sciences, medicine, technology, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I would say in like sciences, medicine, and technology. So these are broad disciplines, okay? And thankfully, there are tons of opportunities in them, okay? Now, when you embark on your career journey, there is one thing that I need you to know right from the onset. And this is something that thankfully, I realized very early on in my journey. And that is, you are a million things in one, okay? So when I say this, it's like you don't, like there's no further explanation to this than you can be anything just as much as what you want to be, whatever you want to be, whatever light that you want to see yourself in, you have that capacity, you have that potential to project yourself into that light. Okay, so I see a lot of people, you know, young graduates as well. I have younger siblings too who are walking the walk, and they make a lot of mistakes. And it's fine, really. It's part of the learning process, you know, mistakes, they are part of the fabric. But a lot of people feel that you have gone to school, you studied chemistry, you studied medicine, you studied what, engineering, you studied whatever it is, and then you're bound by that. You are not, right? Like, I know this is so desirable that when you have studied whatever, you would come out to be that, right? So like, no one would want to just go to school and then in the end not be what they had studied. However, just know that there is a whole lot more to your education. Your education, like, I see that honestly as just a piece of paper, right? You just want to get a piece of paper. See it beyond that. You've gained a lot of experiences, you've gained a lot of skills, your training is rich, and you can use that experiences that you gained during your education in many ways, okay? In many parts. And in sorry, I just saw something. Okay, yeah, for sure. I will touch on that one if you want me to. So there is so much more, like I said, that you can do. And as a young person, as a young graduate, the world is your oyster, and it is an all you can eat type of oyster. Okay, so do not pigeonhole yourself to just one career. I'll give you an example. I studied chemistry in my undergrad, and when I finished, all I wanted to do was to get a job like in the pharmaceutical, whatever, like, but still in chemistry. Okay, but then you see a lot of people jumping from what? Medicine to bank, jumping from engineering to this and all of that. How were they able to fit into those roles? And when I say this, I don't even mean like working in, let's say, the health department of the banking sector. No, they are like in the front lines doing the cashier and all of that. So how did they get there? It's about the experiences that they had, you know, looking into yourself and seeing what you can do beyond what you have studied. Okay, so now when I say that you are a million things in one, you really have to start seeing yourself that way. But then to be able to, you know, project those million things that you have in yourself to the world, to be able to maximize them, you need to have the bargaining chip in the job market, and that's your skills. All right, so that takes me to the second point that I want to talk about: your skills. That's your bargaining power. So one thing that I know that I learned very early on as well was assessing myself all the time. What are the skills that I have now, and what are the skills that I can gain in the future, or even gain now, to be able to get that job or to be able to be in a career that I would want to be in, right? So you have this skills assessment all the time. You write down everything, like, what are the skills that you have now? What are the skills that you gain in maybe your past job, whatever experiences that you had, whichever, maybe during school and all of that, okay? Having that outline helps you to see where you are and also see where you can be, all right? See different dimensions of, you know, career that you can take. So, and when you make a list of those skills, make a list of your soft skills and also your hard skills. And for me personally, I tell people to focus more on their soft skills. Focus on developing your soft skills more than you do your hard skills. And this is the reason: your soft skills are transferable. They go with you wherever you go. So those skills like leadership, communication, both in speaking and writing, problem solving. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that. Daniel. All right, so like I was saying, leadership, communication, problem solving. So soft skills are those skills that you, like, they are skills that you don't necessarily have to gain them from your job. Like, for instance, leadership, communication. These are things that you, like, these skills are things that you develop over time. These are skills, like I said, that are transferable, that you can take with you wherever you go. Problem solving skills, organization, time management, teamwork, your work ethics, and all of that. So those are your soft skills. Now, unlike the hard skills that you can learn mostly, I mean, you can also learn soft skills on the job, but hard skills, you need them to do a specific job. Your soft skills, for sure, you also need them to do a job, but they're not as specific as certain jobs. So let's say there is a job that requires you to know, like, you know, data processing skills and all of that. That's a hard skill there. Okay, Daniel, I don't know if I answered.
Wonderfully.
Huh?
You've done wonderfully well. You've done wonderfully well. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so like I was saying, your hard skills they are more tailored to a specific job. And like I said, for instance, data processing, or if you're in science, is also maybe a job might need you to do some, let's say, run some DNA analysis and, you know, DNA identification, amplification, and all of that. So PCR and yeah. So like all of those are the hard skills. But then your soft skills are those ones, like I said, that you go with them wherever you go. And personally, I focus more on developing my soft skills than I do my hard skills. Because when a company hires you, you can learn on the job. You can learn those skills. They will train you. All right. And one thing I should also mention is that when you are looking for a job, you have, thankfully, different sectors. You can look for a job in academia. For instance, you could do research assistant, depending on your level of education. It could be research associate, it could be technician, it could be research scientist, whatever it is. There are a lot of jobs for you in academia. Now, the other one is an industry. You could look for positions in the industry and in the government. So these are different sectors where, you know, you can look for jobs as a young graduate of science, medicine, or technology. Okay. So you had a question here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in the scholarship aspect.
In the scholarship aspect, okay.
Yes,
so,
how can I get funding for postgraduate scholarship? That's very important to me.
Okay, so getting funding for postgrad education, okay, I'm gonna talk, well, this doesn't just apply to Canada, but anywhere else in the world, I believe. But in Canada, if you're, say for instance, you're coming for masters, okay, I would break this to you. There are not many scholarships for international students. Even for PhD would only be like the Vanish scholarship that I could, you know, link that. I could just share the link here with you guys. But there are not many scholarships, really. I know this is quite disappointing, but there are not many scholarships.
How did you leave Nigeria? How did you leave Nigeria?
How I left Nigeria?
That's share your experience with us.
Really, that's a long story.
It will help somebody.
Okay. So how I left Nigeria, really, it was purely favor. It was okay. So I graduated from chemistry, right? And I went on, you know, my way, you know, to look for jobs and yeah, to help my family and all of that. A lot of people thought that I would pursue masters right away, but that wasn't on my mind at all because I needed to help my family. You know, I needed to help us get to some level in terms of our finances. We were really in a financial, like in a very bad financial situation. So, and then as the first child of my family, like all I wanted to do was to get a job and help. However, I had a turning point when on September 10, 2014, which was my birthday. So you want to hear the story? So that was my birthday, and I got a message from chemistry department UNN saying that I was recommended for a scholarship and for grad studies at Dalhousie University, Canada. Okay, that was the way the message came, and I thought it was a scam, like. So did my parents, because I mean, I never applied for any scholarship. I never applied for any, you know, postgraduate education, let alone outside of Nigeria. I did not. But that message came from nowhere, all right? And I was asked to come to UNN, in which I did. I went there and it was masterminded by Dan, if you remember, Dr. C.O. Okafor, Pyridine. So he was the one who came up with that. So he had connections though in Canada, okay? And there was this opportunity that came up, and then they needed a good student and all of that. So he came back to the. I'm sorry, Dan, you're muted. If you're talking, you're muted.
I was asking, is Pyridine your supervisor at undergraduate level? Your Pyridine?
I had no relationship. Like my relationship with him was so remote. Like he took us on one chemistry course. Yeah, I had no relationship with him at all. He just came.
Okay.
He just came.
Okay.
But anyway, I heard there was some sort of internal meeting within the department, and then they deliberated that, and that was like I don't know, they just came on and were like, oh yeah, Chinonye, she's gonna be good. She's gonna be this, she's gonna be that. That was what I heard. And also like they had a lot of rubrics, like that they used to judge the person that they would recommend. So that was what happened. Yeah, and that was how I came here. Like then I connected with my then master supervisor, spoke with him. He asked me to apply for admissions, and then that's how I came. So now going back to the scholarship, okay? So now I said there are not many scholarships at all. In fact, even for masters, I don't think there is any, okay? However, how do you get your scholarship? How do you come here to study? You can do that through, in fact, this is the primary way to do that. You can do that through getting, and let me say, an indirect funding from your supervisor. Okay, so if you find a supervisor, I don't know if we really have time to talk about this because Daniel, this wasn't what you wanted me to talk about from the beginning. So, but absolutely, like if you want me to talk about this, sorry, did you say there are many scholarships out there?
I don't know who wrote that. Let me check.
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, Kinsley did. Okay. Now I think
well, it's not. Well, it's maybe I'm not going into that, but just so people who are listening are not discouraged.
Yeah,
maybe also
it's
because of how you got your own. Because you got yours by recommendation, which is one way of getting it, right?
Okay.
I remember a colleague of mine who was working with WAEC before he became a lecturer in Nsukka, who sent his son to the UK to do masters. So when I got my own funding, the woman was asking me, how did you get? I said, I just saw it and applied. So he told his son, and the son said, no, the UK cannot give scholarships to Nigerians. It doesn't. And the son did his masters here in the UK. All right, but because his parents were rich and paid his way through, he didn't know there were scholarships. All right,
okay.
There is hardly any Canadian university that doesn't. I have two of my former students who I did. I wrote their recommendations, and two of them are on masters, not even PhD, masters scholarship in Canada. So there's hardly any university. They are there. It's just that you need to find them out.
Let me come in here. I think from where Chinonye is coming from, she's coming from the angle that, right, maybe when you are in, maybe it's not so easy, and I completely understand. But apart from that, there are some things she mentioned which is very critical, and she's talked about soft skills for all of us who are listening. That was a powerful thing. She said, your skill is your bargaining power. I wrote it down. That is key. What soft skills do you have as someone who is pursuing, a drive to have a postgraduate education, maybe within or outside Nigeria? There's nothing, let me put it in quote, wrong with the Nigerian education system if we can put things right. But we need to put things right. I think that's the issue. So Chinonye mentioned that, and that is very important. Your relationship. Okay, look at our own case. I don't know who recommended her in the department of chemistry. I know chemistry is the best department on earth, in quotes. But for them to recommend her means there was something about her that took their attention. It could be her academic excellence. I don't know. It could be her relationship with somebody. So whatever you do, That is a key point. She made it and it was bam. It was right on the spot. Develop your soft skills, team playing skills, relationship with people, diplomatic. How do you relate with people? How do you do things? Not just what you are taught in classroom. As a matter of fact, we are here today because of my soft skills. I think I didn't study to come and be doing this kind of thing, but I noticed that there was something inside me that is yearning to help somebody. And that was just the point she has made. And that is critical. So in seeking for whatever you're seeking for in life, not just scholarship, let your soft skills be evident. Your empathy towards people. You might not have all the word. Please, I don't have all the word. Don't even think I have money. In the email I sent to you, I made it very clear. I don't have money. But I know I have what it takes to get money from people and give to you to go to school. I know I have what it takes. So those soft skills are key. And she made it. And the second point she made, which I also wrote down, is talking about finding a supervisor. Some of us are not so good at going to the internet and seeking for information. And I know why. Simple. Most of us are from Nigeria. And the Nigerian system is if you don't know somebody, you are finished. But out there is not so. Yes, no, forget it. I was born in a poor family.
Of course, that's really true.
I was born in a poor family. I know what I passed through. Thank God for my
I'm laughing because I can relate to it directly. Because some of my colleagues were asking me, this is a university lecturer asking me, called me by the side, my honorary classmates, Kingsley, who do you know in Newcastle? Good. I said, I don't know anybody. I saw a scholarship opportunity and I applied. Till today, she doesn't believe it. Because as far as this guy is, it happens by who you know. So that's why I just remembered it and I was laughing.
Please, I want to encourage us. The phone you have in your hand is not only for Facebook and for Twitter. Go online. You are seeking for something, go online and search for it. She made that point and it was bam. It was the key point. Please.
Yeah,
go online and find.
Come in, okay? Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to let you know that I still want to address his point about having many scholarships here. So yeah, just to let you know. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. All right. So Kingsley Ugwani, you said that there are many scholarships out there. Okay. So I am going to speak for Canada. All right, and I'm not going to speak for maybe United States or for the for UK. I'm going to speak for Canada. I was a master's student here in Canada. All right, okay. Or maybe first of all, I want you to know that listeners, I want you to know that I am not going to be here and tell you something that I'm not gonna. I don't sugarcoat things at all. Okay. When I begin to tell you, people who know me really, when I begin to tell you something, I kind of give you the bad news first, and then I go to the good news. So when I told you that there are not many scholarships in here, it is for you to get prepared, for you to understand defeat, okay? So for you to know how competitive it is, to be able to get whatever that is out there, okay? So, having said that, when you say there are many scholarships, I would really like you to point that out. I would really like you to point out those scholarships because I was a master's student here, and there are no.
I think Nonya, if I may comment, please.
Yeah.
I think your point is very valid, but that in any way does not discountenance what Kingsley had said. Okay,
yeah,
it depends how you see. I completely agree with you. I want us to shift focus onto something. Charles, editor, the main editor, the writing editor, says a friend of mine has insisted that it is better to go for studies abroad with your funds intact than scholarship. That is, it's better you have your private money. I'm just wondering, what about poor people like me who never had
Exactly.
How true is it?
Exactly.
How true is it? Go ahead, please.
Okay, so Charles, thank you so much for that question. One thing for sure is that most universities nowadays, most universities in Canada, okay, would not allow you to come in self-funded in a grad program.
Really? Why?
PhD. Most, that wouldn't be, in fact, even in my department, You cannot be self-funded, and this is the
That's
reason.
true. In the
The
US,
reason-
so yeah,
the
it
reason
happens in
is-
US as well.
The reason is because self-funding, like you just said it. How about poor people like you, maybe, and even me? If I was allowed to come in, self-funded, I'm gonna drop out at some point, right? Like it's not sustainable at all. It is not sustainable. You're gonna think about, finances. You're gonna think about a lot of things. And if you're working in the lab and then your lab experiments are not going well, and then you have the the financial side of your program to think about, like
Okay.
there are just the chances of dropping out is high.
It's very high. Okay.
Student. And there is also a part of commitment, like being committed to the project. A lot of students feel like there is this lack of responsibility and accountability when people are self-funded, because you're working with someone, you're working on a project, you have to remain accountable. But this is something that is lacking in a lot of self-funded students. Just try to visit that.
Okay.
You get what I mean,
think,
right?
I think your point, I completely agree with you, because in my case, I don't know if I had no funding, if I would have finished by now, and if I would have had enough money to pay, the answer would have been no. And I know how much it took for my studies here. At least roughly, for my PhD and master's only, at least was almost 40 million naira. At least 40 million.
Yeah.
And I have a family, so that is deadly. So I think that if you can afford to get your own fund for postgraduate studies, it will be good. God bless you so bigly. God bless you so bigly.
One last word on that. Sorry, one last word on that. So,
okay.
The things like, so, sorry, I'm just gonna scroll here to say something. So yeah, if you want me to talk about getting scholarships, because like that wasn't really what I was prepared, like what I thought that you wanted me to talk about, right? So
no problems, you've done very well.
So if you want me to talk about scholarships or getting admissions here, we can have another session and I can go through that. Okay.
And I will call you on again, because I trust your efficacy.
I would definitely, because
please.
There are
Thank
two
you.
persons
Ken.
already here in Canada who I guided on that. All right.
Good. So Ken is trying to say something.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken,
yes, I think when it comes to applications, I've been in the jungle for a long time.
Yes, and then, you stayed there for so long. I pity you.
I have lots of experiences. My experience with Canada is that some of this, not like there are no scholarships, but I will say mostly it's hidden, internal. And then, I remember then I wrote a supervisor who, from my proposal, asked me to apply to the department, but almost immediately I got something else which I felt was better for me. I mean, when it comes to money, Nigerian, we try to weigh things. So, but there are scholarships, and the best way to do this for me when it comes to Canada is to know what you want, search for these researchers or lecturers in these areas, write to them directly, and you never can know, one may have something which you can offer.
Good, good. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. Again, Ken is saying the same thing. Go online and utilize the resources that you have. Write to people. And I think last time Casey talked about that, but we don't have time today. Right. If you need any support anywhere, we have a collection of eminent men and women in different fields of life that would help you. If you need a recommendation letter and you are part of this team, we will be willing to support you. As far as lies in our powers, I encourage all of us to join our Facebook group. If you have scholarship options anywhere in the world, please post it. Let people make recommendations. And in coming weeks or days or months, I will be sending some of these people for guidance to each and every one of us, specifically, including you, Chinoye. This is very
absolutely
key.
Yeah, I definitely do that for people now. Like I mentor a lot of people on that. So yeah,
good.
Glad to.
So that is very important. Please. Ken is shaking his head. Ken, don't shake your head, because that is how you got out. Everybody needs to do something. And me, I want to be the mediator, okay, for someone to get somewhere. So that is why I called you and all of us here. Please. Good. Having said that, Thank you, Chinoye, again. And thank you, and thank you. Dave has been waiting. Dave.
Okay.
Hello's here.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, Don. Hi,
Hello's
Don.
here.
Hey, can you hear me?
Wow.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
We
God
can
bless
hear
you,
you,
Dave.
disruptor.
I thought,
Disruptor, we can hear you.
He's here to disrupt us. I thought he has gone to heaven, but he's still here. So, Dave, God bless you, please. Dave is a brother I love so much. He knows much about technology. Dave, help us. Help Kingsley in particular. He doesn't know anything about computers. Go ahead, please.
Dave, were you here when Mary Chinda's this was being disrupted? Were you the one disrupting it?
No,
Maybe
I
he
wasn't the
was.
one. No, I'm very innocent of any accusations.
Good to see you.
Hey, Dave, go
Thank
ahead,
you very
please.
much. Good to see you too.
Dave wants to
Yes.
share his screen. Meg, help us, please.
Yeah, you need to make me host of this host so I could. Nice seeing everybody. Nice seeing you, editor. Nice seeing you on Kingsley, Dawn. Yes, Janet, and some other faces, and everybody out here. It's a pleasure to connect with every one of you here.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, do I have the?
What
Do I have
do
the
you-
control now?
Meg, is that done?
What?
Okay, yes, I think she's
What's
done.
the
It's done.
program?
It's okay. Thanks,
Oh.
Meg.
Very
Let
good.
me
Meg is doing a good job.
put up. Yeah, she's. Thanks, Meg.
There's
give me-
someone's background that's talking. If you're the one, please mute yourself. I'm trying to mute everyone.
Please. Please,
Okay.
Meg does not complain. Whenever Meg complains, he has to be taken seriously. Meg is complaining of the mic. Please put off your mic. If Meg gets angry, she will lock off everybody and we go home. Please, please, please.
All right. So where is my this thing? Give me a sec. Let me sort this thing out.
Are you disrupting yourself?
No, I can't disrupt myself. I'm trying to get the screen. Give me a second. I'm trying to project my screen.
Yeah, as Dave gets ready.
Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Not yet, Dave. Chinoye did very well. Chinoye, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for helping out.
Let me know when you see my screen.
Yeah, please go on. I will be watching. If I see it, I will let him in.
Yeah, I projected my screen. I projected my screen. I believe you should be able to see it.
We haven't seen it. Kingsley, can you see anything, Ken? Talk to me.
Not
Chibuzo,
yet.
did you see anything? No, not yet. Not yet. Me too. Not yet.
Okay. So I might have to make this a bit... sorry. Okay, so you should see it now.
Yeah, I think it's coming up.
Something
You are
flashed,
right.
yes.
You are disrupting everything now. You've disrupted. Go ahead, please.
Everybody, for those in Lagos, Nigeria, good evening. Oh, I can see Kenuli. Kenuli, pleasure connecting with you. So I would like to tell you a bit about, well, you know, a lot of things are changing. Those days, those people who we call technology people are more of military people. If you check the history of technology, it started from builders, it has the background right from Egypt. You know, we now moved to military men who were only those that practice technology. It now moved to people who were builders and all. If you even check in the beginning, those days, philosophers were combining both science and social science. Everything was all mixed up, you know. So coming to where the world is, what we call technology is not as the way it is. It is no more like so specialized, just the way we perceive it before. Because presently now, there is a convergence between work, organizational rules, and technology. Just like it's very tough for any CEO who doesn't have acumen for innovation and technology innovation to take the company to the next level. You know, in this era of fourth industrial revolution, there's a convergence, you know, of so many things, of both the business world and all. Things that require you to have a statistician, maybe at work, where you have a statistician that will sit down and be, you know, trying to gather some data, try to plot some graphs, try to come up with some Excel sheets, and come up with some dashboards, and you know, and him feeling fly. those things are quite changed now. Now we have technologies where a CEO of a company, instead of calling a statistician, he just presses one button and he gets the data at the second, all automated. So a whole lot of things are changing. The landscape for work is actually changing. So what I'll be doing here is just to try to deposit some thoughts in our mind to kind of motivate us and help us to start looking in some direction. So I'm talking a bit about how relevant are you in this era of fourth industrial revolution and this COVID-19. COVID-19 is a game changer. A whole lot of things have changed. Things that you saw as a lot of businesses were affected, those in the hospitality industry, and so many businesses were disrupted in this COVID-19. The people that are making so much money are those in the health industry, those in health, those selling food, those in technology, even this dispensation, those are into energy. So a whole lot of things are actually changing. So let me just introduce myself a bit. So my name is David. I'm very passionate about disruption. I have a background. I studied electronic engineering from University of Nigeria. Then I had a little stint with Intel Corporation. They were like the first guys that tried to pick me up after I got out of university. And I also worked with Etisalat, which is now Nine Mobile. Then after working with them for a while and speaking in some conference in the US for the company, trying to bring some company. Funny enough, I played a role in Uber coming to Nigeria because I took them to Etisalat then. Then one of the I think heads then became the first managers of Uber in Africa. So yeah, I've done a couple of things in the past, and now I'm very, very passionate about disruptive technologies like IoT, big data, artificial intelligence, because they are all changing things. There is hardly anything you want to do which you want to be sustainable without you thinking of artificial intelligence or thinking of data, the use of data science. So what I'm trying to preach out here is that a lot is changing around the world. The world is it's no more the same. Before, I would have said it's just because of technology that is changing the world. But now COVID-19 has come, it has changed a whole lot of things. It has shifted, So the question is now, are we still holding on to something that's irrelevant? Are we still holding on to a certificate? Or are we still trying to hold on to something that is going to become irrelevant in the next few years? So in your career, in your business, what you're doing in the next 5 years, is this something that will still be relevant? Is this something that technology will knock out? If you look at this picture, this animation I have out here, you see that the calendar was knocked out, the document reader was knocked out, the books were knocked out, the table phones were knocked out, a whole lot were knocked out. All the office can now be run on computers, on a system, on a cloud. Right now, people run their office from phone. So my question is now, is this, the guy who was making the cupboard, making the fax machine you see here, the guy is making the books, and all, where are they? What happened to their business? The guy who made this calendar, the guy who made these pictures, the guy who made this book, where are they? What happened to them? They are being disrupted. So the question is, what you are doing now in the next 3 to 5 years, will you still be relevant? If it's not going to be relevant, what do you need to do? For it to be relevant, you need to gather knowledge first to know where to go to. So let me take you, let's go to the next slide. So, okay, sorry. So if you look at this video, many of us in Nigeria are like that. Many of us in Nigeria are like that. And even sometimes some blacks are like that. We are so bent on following things the best in one way. Now, the bitter truth is this: Nigerian educational system was designed to only make you only useful to work under somebody as a staff. The Nigerian education system was designed to make you serve the white man. I'm sorry to say so, but that it is. When you go to school, a lot of people are not using their
brain.
You're
right, Dave. You are right. Go ahead. You are very correct.
They don't want to follow normal reasoning. The white man introduced, look at this, the method of education 6334. It was designed for our fathers to serve the British. And unfortunately, The government is not doing anything to change. People don't have a mind of their own. People don't think for themselves. People just want to follow standards, follow protocols. You know, these guys want to dig a hole to get water, and they saw a tap. They don't know that, hey, this thing can get them water, and they're so carried away digging things, and digging things. And many of us are like that. We are looking for gold where it doesn't exist. So where is the gold? So I want to understand something. It's a privilege talking to young people. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know, as a young person, for the fact that you are not married, you don't have kids, you know, you are not in this hierarchy of need. You have crossed this hierarchy of need. Okay, you have crossed. Many of us as students have crossed this hierarchy of need. Now, for me, I'm not going to explain this because I'm not a psychologist, but I'm more focused on this self-actualization. It comes at a point when you feel secured and you believe in yourself and you are bold, where you believe that everything is possible, where you are not limited by whatever circumstances that was put in you, either in school or either anywhere. I, as a person, I have in mind I want to homeschool my own child, because sometimes what we call education is a limitation in our own system. How can we break forth from our mind? Self-actualization is where you believe in yourself. You believe you can actually, achieve anything. You are not looking for so much of approval. You are trying to change your world. The people that actually change the world are those that are crazy enough to believe that they can actually change the world. That is what Steve Jobs said. Where you believe everything is possible. Everything is actually possible if you go out for it. So let me tell you a bit about technology that is changing the world. Technology is changing the way we live our life, the way we work, everything about us. So I will take you through some list of technologies that are changing the world. They are called disruptive technologies. Now, robotics, number one, is changing the world. A lot of jobs will be taken. The only jobs that will be relevant are jobs that cannot be automated. Jobs around the work of art, that requires engineers that cannot be automated. Art, work. There are so many work, something that cannot be automated. Something that has to do with human engineers, because for you to automate things that have to do with emotion, you require so much gigabytes, honestly. To automate normal tasks, like pick up something and drop it there. So let me even tell you the truth. What we call artificial intelligence is something that was built based on the way our brain work, the way our neural network work. So they kind of look at how does the brain respond to stimulus and all, and that's the model that is used to design artificial intelligence. I'm telling you a bit about how you can be innovative. There's what they call biomimicry. Biomimicry is whereby you look at nature and how it works and use it to invent something. What inspired the invention of the plane? The birds that are flying. It inspired the Weber brothers to come up with the plane. The helicopter you see was inspired by dragonfly. The train you see, I believe, was inspired by millipedes and all. So everything is all around you. So what I'm talking about is that the jobs you are doing, is this something a robot can automate? If it's something a robot can automate in the next automate, then I advise you change your direction. So many people that work, for example, in government places, they don't use their brain so much because they just come routine every day. They come, keep this file here and all that. So they don't need to actually bother themselves. Let me also shock you. The amount of brain effort or energy required to come up with maybe 2 page of articles, maybe to describe something that you thought out. The energy you need to come up with that is equal to the energy that a laborer needs to carry, like offload like 5 trucks of cement from one place to another. Because for a laborer who is carrying things from one place to another, doesn't require so much brain energy, doesn't require so much, let's say, RAM space in the brain. So as humans, if you want to beat robots and artificial intelligence, you need to discover your ingenuity inside. You need to discover yourself, not what people are saying, not what the education system is trying to box you up to become. Sorry, I'm a bit touching some other places. Now, this is a young guy. I think this guy should be 27, 28, 29. But actually, what this guy did is this guy actually was hired by Apple. And as of last year, he's the highest paid robotics engineer in the world. Even the men with PhD, they don't earn what this guy is earning. What did he just do? what he did was that he saw that, okay, what's the future? Okay, augmented reality, games. And what did he do? He created a game and also a robot that when you view the robot from a phone, the robot will be seeing some environment as if there are other things that he's seeing virtually that he's fighting with. And the robot could come up with some gestures, some very human kind of gestures and all that. And Apple saw this and said, hey, look here, if we have this kind of product on Apple platform, it will make more users stay with us. To make some people want to use Apple, to make our platform, which is the Apple Store and everything, more interesting. And they hired him, and they are paying him so much. This guy didn't need to get a PhD to do this. He didn't need to do some overstudies. You know, I'm not saying that PhD is not okay. It's okay, but then everybody has a different path. Everybody have a different path. Find your path. For some people, you know, academics is their strength. If you know that you're a crazy man like me, and you are not afraid of, you know, taking some risk, you know, or you are somebody that people have called you crazy several times, then I think you need to be radically discover yourself and know, hey, what can I do to change the world? And even for everybody out here, you should be asking yourself, what is the extra thing I can do that is disruptive, that when I come up with it, it will announce me to the world. Let me give you, for example, I've had the opportunity to lecture in Lagos Business School, and I have no PhD. I have no PhD. I've not done any. Frankly, I've not studied abroad because I want to break a record that I want to make some very huge achievements without even visiting a foreign university. Sorry, I'm not trying to contradict anything, but you know, I'm just saying for my own way. So because people are quite different.
Dave,
yeah,
you don't need
yeah.
to be sorry. I called you in here for you to disrupt our understanding. Okay, so please go ahead and bombard us. We're waiting for you.
So how did I get opportunity to lecture in Lagos Business School? I was lecturing people that are CEOs, top guys from various industries. What happened? Well, big data and data science became a very hot thing, and Lagos Business School want to, you know, enter that area. You know, of course, in Lagos Business School, they train lots of big people and big companies, and they were looking for who has experience in big data and all. They couldn't find. Until someone said, hey, I know David, he runs conference and he talks about big data. Can we get him in? And that was how I got to Lagos Business School, to train CEOs and many people without having a PhD. That is what we call disruption. We are looking at the future. For you to stand out, you need to look at the future. Where is the world going? And they are not seeing. What you do is that you go there and wait for the word. The men that go ahead and wait for the word are the people that the world later, you know, really appreciate and try to look for their services and all. A very good example is someone like Trump. Trump will look at how did he become successful. Look at the property that is down, low price, nobody wants it. He goes, he takes it and invests in it and turns it around. That is what disruptors actually do. So you should be looking at the future. Where is the world going? For you to understand where the world is going, you need to have insights. Read books, read reports. Read reports from Deloitte Touch, McKinsey. Study your world around you and position yourself. So also, for you to start doing something around robotics, it's not far-fetched, honestly. Sometimes we believe that we need to have so much money before we start practicing this thing. As a student, you can start doing something now. While you are trying academics, you can lay your hand on some of these things. These things are not expensive. It doesn't cost you up to 10,000 naira to save money to have this thing. You know, buy some of these things. They sell them in Onisha, they sell them in some place in Lagos. Some of these companies, they are out there. Whatever you are looking for, they're on the internet. They will tell you how to do this. For example, this robot, you can buy it and program it to do one or two things. For example, some years ago, there's one guy called the drone guy. You know, people were hailing him across Lagos and Nigeria. And the guy is not doing anything special. What's the guy doing? He just bought a drone. He was among the first guy in Nigeria. He bought a dormant drone and he flew it around. And people said, this guy is a genius. You know, but you see, the guy was a mover, is a first mover. Should be looking at where's the world going to. Can I go and stay there and look for the world to actually recognize me? And I would like to give an example about somebody who was out here. Is Uncle Kisley Wine. He's somebody that, you know, he went out on the platform and he puts Nigerian language online, and it really got him some, you know, some accolades and some recognition. Those are the things you'll be looking at. What can I do differently that will catch the people's attention? And I'm telling you, by just doing that, he's going to give him access to so many places. Because you don't know when you're making some moves, or you're creating a small business, or creating a tech startup, you don't know who is seeing you online. When you make yourself visible online, either on LinkedIn or Facebook, and you're trying to connect with people in your area of field, you are far reaching. I've built so many connections that by just having a LinkedIn profile and posting very interesting articles. A lot of people have got very interesting jobs just by being active on LinkedIn and active on being online. I will not talk so much about LinkedIn, but I would touch some other things. Then also, 3D printing is another technology that is changing the world. And what is actually 3D printing? I hope I'm not too technical, but I just want us to have some things in our mind to understand a lot of things that change the world. In case you are doing your research, you are trying to build something, or you are choosing a PhD thesis or a master's thesis, you need to choose a topic that when you just drop that topic, funding will come immediately because the world has some areas of interest. And some of these things I'm telling you about are the world's area of interest. The World Economic Forum is pushing things like this. What is 3D printing? Let me explain 3D printing using an example of what we call 2D printing. 2D printing is like what you print in your papers. You put it on a flash, maybe something on a Microsoft Word document, you put a soft copy on the flash, and you get the paper and you print it. It's 2-dimensional because it has length and width. It has height and width. But 3D printing is something that has 3 dimensions. It has depth. Like, for example, what you can see in this picture is a hat. Some time ago, they actually had to 3D print a hat to replace somebody's hat somewhere, according to what was put out there, to replace some part of somebody's hat. They also use it to replace some part of somebody's job. So how does 3D printing work? Let's say, for example, I want to print this hat. I would do a digital copy of the design, just the way you do on Microsoft Word, of this 3D, of this particular stuff, of this particular thing in 3D printing. Then what I do, I will now send that digital copy to a 3D printer, and it prints it out the way it is. And apart from in health, this technology is changing the manufacturing industry. When you are doing what they call prototyping or modeling, to come up with a model or a mold for maybe mass manufacturing of a plastic or a bottle, or there's some kind of very delicate material that people want to mass produce. So with a 3D printing, you can come up with very high level of accuracy and little error. So 3D printing is accelerating a lot of things in the manufacturing industry and a whole lot of places. But you can still read further. I'm just here to stimulate your mind for you to study further. This, I was mentioning, I said it sometime that look here, 3D printing is going to disrupt Dangote. And people say I'm a crazy guy, People didn't even respond to me on LinkedIn, say this guy has come with these crazy things. But let me tell you something. This house was 3D printed. This house you're seeing here, it was 3D printed, and it was 3D printed within 24 hours. It was produced within 24 hours. When you check the dollar exchange rate of this, it was worth 5 million naira. So if I can print a house within a bungalow within 24 hours for 5 million naira, and I place before you a choice, will you go for these 3D printed houses, or you go to use Dangote cement, where you will now buy it for so much amount that is fluctuating? You now get a foreman to help you build your house, and you're not sure if the guy is telling the truth or he's cheating you, or he's putting fake windows and all around, and you wait for 2 months. Between these 2 options, which one will you go for? So the fact is just this: in the area of disruption, nobody controls disruption. It's a flow and it's a force that nobody can stop, even the strongest man in this planet. Because the customers look for something that is cheaper, something that is easier, something that won't cause them any stress. It's the customer that determines what happens in the market. They have the power, unlike in the past where any industry can come up with any product and people just follow it. Then another technology is what they call augmented reality. What is augmented reality? Augmented reality is where it helps you simulate some kind of environment on a digital screen. For example, you can see here, this guy you're seeing here, he went to an e-commerce platform and he wants to buy a watch. And, though he can't have the watch physically, but he wants to just see how the watch works. He's able to tap on the watch and the watch attached to his hand as if he's with the watch physically. You can see he puts his phone over it and the watch attached to his hand. What is good about, let me give you a very good example why this is very relevant as an example. So most people that buy glasses along the road or from Aboki, what makes you buy the glasses? The Aboki will give you a mirror. You now check the glasses, hey, this glass is good, it fits me. This is the same psychology that's applied in this e-commerce. Augmented reality is also used in education. When you want to teach some people, maybe about how to fly an airplane, about some mechanical machine, or about anything, you can use it to simulate an environment where it can help you create some level of immersive learning as if you are there physically. This is used in so many ways. Even, for example, Now there's coronavirus. I'm discussing with some of my people, why don't we come up with church in virtual reality, where people will put on the virtual reality glass and they will be in church and interacting with everybody. Someone's already doing it. So there's a whole lot of things which we are thinking about, which you don't need to be afraid about changing the world. You have to be crazy enough to think you can change the world and go about it, and the world will remember it for it. The floor is crowded. Don't do things everybody's doing. For me, I don't like going to any place I know that people are crowded. I don't like struggles. I want to go to a place whereby nobody is there. If everybody is there, I live there. The people that will make money in any environment, once everybody has discovered it, the people that are supposed to have made the money and made the name have already made it. Once it's crowded, know that who cares? It's already gone. Look for a new zone, something that nobody has tried. Okay, this is also virtual reality. For example, I want to teach a child A for apple. Instead of showing him just having a normal paper, I draw it. Yeah, so for some of us, there are so many things they taught us when you're in primary school. We have never seen it in our lives. And we don't even know how it looks like really. For some of those days, we don't have apple in Nigeria. I'm not sure when I was younger, we never seen apple. As we started growing, started importing apples in Nigeria. We only see it in picture, in abroad pictures, So for a child who have not seen an apple and say, hey, A for apple, you can use your virtual reality to simulate the apple so you can look real. You can see if looking at it through this phone or through a screen. So that's on virtual reality. Sorry. So artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is where they try to simulate try to make a computer act like a human being, have the intelligence of a human being. However, can you all hear me?
I can hear
Can
you.
you all hear me? Yeah, great.
I can hear you.
Artificial intelligence is one of the most popular technologies that is changing the world, changing the companies and everything. Artificial intelligence is where a computer acts like they kind of train a computer to be able to have the intelligence of a human. However, there are different levels. It will be very tough. Let me tell you something. God is great, I will tell you. If any human being try to replicate a man using computer, I've not seen any scientist that can do it. Your brain, the kind of information in your brain is more than how many petabytes and terabytes. A drop of water can contain so much data that can fill the whole data center. So our fluid, our DNA, our chromosomes, they are carrying levels of data. So whatever is in technology, they are trying to simulate what God has already created. You are trying to catch up with what God has created. Of course, nobody has caught up yet. So for artificial intelligence, they are trying to make computers think and act like human beings, have reasoning like human being. And people are using it for business. So if you have, for example, there's a technology called chatbot. Okay, I'll come to that. I think I have it on my slide. So an example of artificial intelligence to show you how the world is changing. Sometime last year or last 2 years, about 22 or 23 of the world's best lawyers were called together versus one computer which has artificial intelligence that all the whole terms of law and the whole vocabulary of law and intelligence of law was put in that computer. And they said, look here, they gave these lawyers some numbers of NDAs to read and analyze. About 20 of the best lawyers in US, and they gave one computer that NDA. Do you know what happened using artificial intelligence? That computer with artificial intelligence was able to do this with 95% accuracy within 26 seconds. How about the 20 lawyers? Took them 1 hour, 32 minutes. So now, what does that mean in the area of work? As against a company that hires over 1,000 people to work for them, I can train a computer. I have like 5 staff, and a computer will do the work of over 1,000 people. And that is why I'm telling you that for any job you are doing, if it's something that is so easy for a computer to automate, my dear, leave that field. Look for something new to do. Because within a short while, you become jobless. Nobody's going to hire you. That's why you have to keep updating your skills. Another example of artificial intelligence is, give me a sec. Sorry, let me, okay, sorry. Okay, I'm not sure I have on my slide. Another example of artificial intelligence that is very common is what we call chatbot. A chatbot is where a computer is giving the intelligence to chat with you. So what does that mean? If I want to access a service of a company, I need to know more about the products, probably on Alibaba or Amazon or maybe on Jumia. And there are millions of people chatting these guys to know about each product. What is a chatbot? A chatbot is a computer that is simulated to understand every product in Jumia and guide you on the prices and all. So what I have to do, I go to probably Facebook Messenger or either WhatsApp, if you connected to WhatsApp, and I start chatting with the chatbot and say, okay, I want to buy a shoe. They will ask you, what kind of shoe? You answer, what kind of color? Okay, we have this shoe left, we have this in our stock left. It will be chatting with you as if someone that is chatting up with you. So with that kind of things, you don't need so much customer service. So if you're saying your skill is customer service, customer agent, I'm sorry to tell you that you'll be knocked out. Right now, they have the artificial intelligence solutions that will pick calls and speak with you normally like a human being and have intelligence. So artificial intelligence is changing a whole lot of things around. So you need to be thinking of the future. What I'm doing, how can I add artificial intelligence to it? My PhD test is how can I think of AI and change it to make it, to be transformed. Then another technology that's changed the world is, we call it Internet of Things. And what is Internet of Things? Recall I told you that all these things I'm eating, don't just think of it as technology and close up your mind to it. They are affecting every areas of our life. Talk of food, sciences, chemistry, everything. Technology is now the bedrock of almost everything you do. Everything. And let me give you an advice. If you have a thesis or whatever you are doing, and you want to stand out immediately, think of ways you can add AI, artificial intelligence, or IoT to it. And I'm telling you, you will get so much response. But if you are thinking of doing the whole traditional ways, my dear, that place is already crowded. You are going to compete with so many people. If you want to stand out of the competition, think about how you can tweak your thesis to have AI or have IoT, because that is where the world is. And that's what the whites are looking for. Why is America fighting China? Because China has so much level of computing power that can help them crack and unlock so many things. China is trying to monitor what's happening all across the world. He's dropping to African Union meetings and the rest of them. This guy have so much computer power that can analyze and track and do so many things. That's one of the reasons that let me tell you something. In this world where we are, the thing we call data, information is power. The only thing why America is scared of China is because of the information they are gathering.
Are you there, Dave? Can we hear Dave?
Lost.
Wow. This can happen.
Sorry, can I say something, please? Can I say something, please?
Okay.
I will advise, just like I wrote in the chat section, we need this guy every time we meet. I'll tell you why. All my life I've been doing mathematics, which you know. And then at a point in one of my lectures, I became embarrassed. Not obvious anyway. I became embarrassed because all these abstract things, all these things we are doing, how do we really make these students see? And for this reason, I tell everybody the truth. I had to leave math. What I'm doing here currently is I'm in computer science, and I'm into deep learning approach in solving super resolution problems. I mean, application to medical imaging. This is because IT is taking over the world. And just like he said, I pity a lot of us in Nigeria because we will be jobless. We will be jobless. And this is not what we want. So this guy is highly welcome, and I beg.
We're already jobless. So
Anyway, Ken, I'm trying to get back to Dave.
This is interesting. Please get data back.
Tie him down.
Let's get data back. Data, where are you? Let me get data back. Because what he's saying is true. Let me give you a hint. I had to teach a bit of medicine using virtual reality, as Dave had mentioned. And for the first time in my life, I could see practically how the human heart operates in all my learning and study. It was when I taught students and I knew what it was like. Okay, I was taught in textbooks, and I had no time to practically see anything. So what he's saying is key. So I understand why many of us are protesting now that data is gone. I'm calling him, but I hope I can catch him back. If I don't get him today,
he has been
bring back our
disrupted.
data analysis.
if I don't get him today, I will bring him again, because what he's saying is key. Without technology, we are going almost nowhere. Kingsley said we're already out of job. Sorry for people who studied English, like Kingsley. It's a big problem.
They there now. You think saying English not there for Internet of Things? They there now.
No, of course it is. It is. It is.
No, you go use connect everything.
It is. You are right. I'm just joking.
We go still catch you now for somewhere.
What happened to Dave? God help me. Dave, are you on? No.
He's been self-disrupted.
Okay, I think we need to give Dave a full session. We need to give Dave a full session of at least an hour plus to take us on this. In the next Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
It's all right. Let me still try to catch him to finish what he has started today and see. Dave, where are you?
It's not ringing.
It's ringing. He's not picking.
He's in the room, but he's
in the room.
Yes.
Wow. This is serious.
Which room? This room we're all in, or another room?
You see, we told you to learn computer, you refused. See what you're asking now.
Maybe he went to use himself. Maybe he's in
the other room. There are many kinds of rooms.
Excuse me. Hello, everyone. Can we listen? As we wait for Dave, someone just joined us, and she's going to take her session very soon. But I want her to talk with us before she starts.